It's only going to get weirder. I'm going to break it down here. Hi, I'm Michelle. This is Angel Souls. These are angelic messages, which you're going to want to hear. Okay, let's start with what are angels. Here's the deal. If we think we know what angels are, the time is here where for some people, I had a weird instant, and so like this is why I feel like I can share this. But like not through meditation, nothing like that. It was just like a random moment, and I was like, "Whoa. Okay, like angels are not what we think. They're not what's in sacred texts per se." As I've been saying for years, that is a layer of those angelic beings. There's a reason why I'm telling you this. Hang with me. There's a layer of those angelic beings that come to us. Now, I was always satisfied with the answer, it's the frequency, which is true. They have origins that we can't comprehend. And there are so many of them, which we knew, right? We knew that. But just tapping into that awareness and starting to get to see slightly more of that angelic presence. That's the kind of stuff we're talking about, okay? For some people. A lot of people are trying to go through an awakening. We keep talking about that. We've been talking about that forever. Listen, hey, yo, like we're beings in process. We have to keep doing this, okay? So sorry if it's getting boring to listen to, but you want the heads up. You'll want the heads up. And then we'll talk about more surface level things. Sure, we could talk about that. We need to talk about that. But to start with some of the deeper realizations, do not be surprised when you have sudden flashes of truth that you may deny. Some of you may deny it and go, oh, that couldn't possibly be. I'm being crazy, right? But that glimpse was something that you absolutely needed, okay? That was showing you what you were ready to see. Now, for each person, that's going to be very different. Okay, so it just depends on you. Depends on what your soul origin is. I know we're getting a little more divided. I'm sorry to say, but I'm the collective was not fully based on like my choices. Y'all did it too, okay? No, we did our best, right? But it is what it is. So it depends on your soul origin. It depends on where your heart is. And it really is kind of a how pure is your heart moment. And that doesn't mean like once you've gotten into this storyline, let's say, and you've made your mistakes, it doesn't mean that you have a bad soul or you have a bad heart. You'll know. You'll know. People who are just trying to take on certain identities, especially spirituality identities, for the clout, for the coin, I swear to God, if y'all don't wake up to the fake ones, you're making me crazy out here. Please. Okay, please. So, but there are a lot of real ones too. And here's the era that we're coming into. And this is really, really beautiful. I was just sharing this with someone. And so I want to share this with you because it feels like it's a message for everyone. We're going to be coming into a time where angelic souls, what we call starseed souls, it's commonly referred to as that. I usually refer to those types of souls as light being souls. Sure, why not? But you're going to see them coming awake, for one, and the ones that have been awake, but they didn't really have a voice, they didn't have a place without being considered absolutely crazy, they're coming on out and going, enough of that. We're tired of you putting your crazy on us, projecting your nonsense onto us. We're here, okay? We're here. This is what we know, and you're not going to tell me I don't know this, okay? Now, unfortunately, we have some very twisted people out there, twisted egos that will try to adopt and claim things like that because they think it sets them apart, it makes them special. It's not about being special, it's about being at home within yourself, right? And being at peace with yourself. So when people start to wherever your soul comes from, when you have that acceptance, that understanding of the self, and you're settled into that energy, you're in your power, you start to emanate that power, that light, and it's going to become more and more and more apparent who is completely committed to density consciousness. How do you know if somebody is committed to density consciousness? They could always change. But if someone's committed to density consciousness, they cannot imagine, well, first they would balk at like meditation. Now, some of you have come for readings and like, yo, I tried. Okay, I tried to help you, but you were going to be where you are, and that's it. Okay, not that that's bad. It's not bad at all. We all have our path, right? But some people who are willing to, well, I'm getting off topic here, willing to open up and be more expansive. Those are the ones that you can tell are the light souls. But let's get back to where I was headed with that. So you know that someone is committed to being in density because they don't, the whole idea of meditation is just like whatever. Or, they make fun of you for your beliefs. Have you ever gotten this face like, okay, wow, that's super weird. Wow, that's really out there. You know the type, right? They also are usually, so not only are they just shallow and they have to stay on the surface level of everything because that's all they know. That is their only reality. They don't have a plug to put into any other kind of understanding. Okay? Again, does not make one person better or worse than another. It's just where they are. But if you're going to be someone who, now you are having these things crack open because if you want to imagine a tornado sort of ripping the shingles off of a building and like wall by wall, piece by piece, it's all blowing away. And there you are. That's where some of you are going to be very, very, very soon. I'm not talking months. I'm not talking weeks. I'm talking hours from the time that you see this. So what I'm getting at is a lot of activations are popping off. So you're going to be seeing things, and then there are going to be these other people. It's going to become very obvious to you, yes, that they have committed to their storyline. You might even have some love and compassion because you might be like, well, hey, I can see that that's what they're built for, and that is the storyline that they have chosen. This is where they are on their soul's path. So let it be, right? But people who are committed to density, they tend to have, and I'm sorry to say this, but kind of like small-minded perspectives. They talk about themselves constantly. They have no regard for other people. And if you say something about yourself and they get scrambled, like, huh, what? What? Like literally, it's like a ghost just like said something to them because they have no other... But sometimes they don't have empathy. If they don't even have compassion, they have no awareness. They have no awareness that the other person maybe don't want to hear this nonsense, okay? Or maybe you know what I just realized? I smeared my lipstick earlier. I forgot it all over, whatever. This is my face. This is what we're doing. You know what I mean? So like people who are kind of self-indulgent, they will hold a captive audience. Be careful of people obviously who are trauma dumping, but also keep telling a sad story so you feel sorry for them. The other thing, and I also shared this with somebody else just now, be careful of people who are finally learning their lesson and they're finally getting their karma. Now, we don't want to see people suffer. Like, we don't want that, right? But somebody who kind of, they weren't getting it, and so the universe is helping them get it, and then they whine and cry and play the victim, and you will always have the ones, the enablers, who for what, I don't know what's in that Kool-Aid, honey, but they come running and they want to save that person because their value is based on how much they can show up for other people. Okay? Again, it gets into a big discussion. So there's that part. Some of the weird, like you're breaking out of the matrix. It's happening piece by piece. There will be some surface level, earthly kinds of triggers that will help this along. The stock market has been, is, and will be crashing. People will have to dump their houses. There will be land grabs. I'm not telling you nothing new. You knew this was coming. The difference this time is we're not bothered. We're already seeing some interesting things. So there's, the whole trend of de-influencing, right? So the influencer trend was here. Think like this, do this, buy this, right? And then there was this over-consumerism. This is just one example. So there was all this over-consumerism, and now people are paring down. And I've been kind of trying to practice it a little bit here myself, instead of going, oh my gosh, my home is not aesthetic enough. I'm like, that's a beautiful piece. That's a beautiful piece. Would an interior designer come in here and say that it goes together? Maybe not. But I'm going to use and clean up and refurbish what I have. And I'm going to feel beautiful about that. Plus, I'm kind of really good at making things work. I can have two clashing things and make it work. So, it's that sort of thing. Okay. So we're sort of detoxing from the consumerism. I don't know that a lot of you are going to be so bothered about the money stuff that you're going to be seeing. Oh boy, you're going to be seeing it. You're going to be seeing so much of it. Okay. Banks collapsing. And that might take a few years, but, more stores closing. But again, this is all very, very surface level. It's already happening. It's not that grandiose. But I love that you're not bothered. I love that for all of us. Because I know when they talk about the stock market, I'm like, well, I don't have any stocks, so joke's on you. I don't have anything to lose, right? But we're talking about the economy and how that's going to be affecting it in the broader sense. I'm like, I'll grow some vegetables. I can figure out camping. I haven't done it since I was a kid. I can figure it out. Sure. I can do anything, and so can you. So we're realizing that that's not that important. Okay. So I'm just touching on that really quickly. I am very concerned about the tensions that are rising here. There's more and more energy that's heading. So we've done this over the years. We've kind of the energy starts to expand around horrible things. Yes. And then we're like, hey, let's do some work. Let's pull that back. That's not what the people want. Yes. And we come back and then we got it kind of smooth for a minute. Well, now it's intensifying, as we're saying. Antagonistic. You know what I'm talking about. We got to be careful with these videos because we are still kind of being monitored and all that. You all know I'm obsessed with planes. I think the last 3 or 4 videos that I've done have been about, at least in some part, about airplanes. There was another incident, okay, something going on at Reagan International. I cannot talk today. It's one of those days. So I'll let you look that up. We don't need to go into all that here, but it's still going on. And that is because I think, in part, we're about to get into some weird talk. If you can't handle it, your ears are going to smoke. Take it elsewhere. Okay. Okay. Thanks. It's a safe space for the weirdos. Okay. If you don't deem yourself a weirdo, goodbye. All right. So part of this is the electromagnetic field and interruptions, ley lines, meridians. There's an energy that's coming from above. So I don't know if that's, I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's like a solar flare. I'm not really picking up on that. But the pulsations are knocking things out of whack. It's going to knock us out of whack. We're hopping timelines yet again. Literally, people think like the whole Mandela effect. That's timeline hopping, I think. I think we're just going into a whole other reality and leaving another one behind. It's getting weird out there. It is getting so incredibly weird. But just, it's almost like, and I've said this before too, but I'm getting that image once again of us kind of folding into another way of being. And it's not a lifestyle change. It's not that. It's, oh, that world doesn't exist anymore. It kind of looks a lot like this one, but it is no longer. The rules do not apply. Now, there will be the people who just, very much like video games, okay? Like the players in a video game. They'll just hop from game to game to game, and they're just like, whatever, now I'm this player. That's fine. No awareness. no awareness. And then there are those of you that are standing back and you see the whole thing and you see it for what it is. And that's what I was talking about at the beginning. There's going to be more and more awareness around that. Now, if you start to get to the point of, how do I put this? You start getting egotistical about that, or you think that that's putting you above others, you didn't see nothing. Go back to sleep. This isn't for you. Go back to sleep. Okay? Test me. Test me. Okay. So there's good and bad per usual. I want you to be very careful with travel. There could be something about boats, cruise ship, no, Navy. Well, it could be both. Who knows? Storms, getting caught up, conflict. Okay. So by land, by sea, and by air. So whatever you're doing, just be careful and make sure if you're not in your spiritual practice, okay, like what are you even doing? No, I'm kidding. Like I get out of practice too. I get out of practice all the time because, we still have to exist in this paradigm, I guess, and it happens. So it's okay. I'm just teasing you. Don't beat yourself up, but do make sure you're doing breath work. Do make sure that you are getting tuned up. Yes. High frequency, not denial, not spiritual sidestepping, just awareness about where your field is, what types of attachments, what are you plugged into? Yeah, it's time to look at that and spend some time with it. Now, this would be the part where I would tell you that if you want a personal reading with me, go to angelsouls444.com. Please pay attention to the restricted countries. If you're in one of the restricted countries, just email me. I am working through a platform that takes care of all the tax collection for certain countries. And so I'm compliant and making sure that's all good. But there's a little bit of a workaround for that. Live sessions. I've been able, like if I've had a reschedule or something like that, I've been able to fit somebody in. I could approach that again this week. So if you want to, there's no guarantee. Okay. I might have a couple of spots here and there. That's about it. Okay. So you can try it. angelsouls444@gmail.com. Email me. Let's see what's up. Let's see what we can do. All that good stuff. Okay. Now let's get into some cards here. I think it's going to be weird and wonderful. Some people are going to surprise you for sure. Whether that's like, hey, that's an ally I didn't know I had. Well, even in terms of allies, like that's very duality consciousness. That sounds like a good thing, but are you on my side or not? Are you with me or are you against me? I understand the uniting to be strong, but still when you're uniting, I think the way a lot of us take it is we're uniting against something. And when we're talking about laws of manifestation, I mean, you're going to manifest something. I don't know that it's what you were intending. There's a better way. There's a better way. And that is through, I keep hitting my microphone, sorry. That is through the higher consciousness work. I don't know why I did it like that. I'm very sorry. Guardian angel, again, we are going to start discovering who these guardian angels actually are. It's not just a winged being with a cute little name. It's not your grandma. Stop it. No, it's not. Stop. Your loved ones don't die and become angels. They're an angel in my heart. Okay. Cool. I will not take that from you. Okay. But when we're talking about fifth dimensional beings and above, I've said this a million freaking times. Okay. Hey, I kept it clean, sort of. These higher frequency beings trying to squeeze themselves into a human body. No, I've said it. Hot dog in a microwave. This would explode. It's not happening. It's not happening. Now, I can't do this conversation again. I feel like I've had it a million times over the years. But like, they can present. You can call your grandma an angel. But like, to literally think that your grandma got her wings, that's a whole other video. Anyway, getting off on a tangent here. The resurrection. This is what we are all doing right now. We are sort of resurrecting out of things that have just been unjust, unethical, immoral, and we've taken it as normal. And this is how you know people who are deeply ingrained in the matrix, right? We understand that term. So people who are deeply ingrained in the matrix, they don't question stuff. As a matter of fact, they get annoyed at you when you do question it, or when you put your foot down. They'll try to, they start getting manipulative. Well, you're entitled. You're spoiled. Wow, must be nice to be you that you never have to follow rules. There's another sign that someone is deeply committed to density consciousness. They I don't know if they like, but they're willing to go along with really stupid rules. And we're not doing it anymore. The one thing I will say is that I'm very happy to see people seeing through the nonsense. And they're using platforms to talk about how they're seeing through the nonsense. That I'm very happy about. Okay, we have the beloved. So these are people coming together, understanding each other, supporting one another. The beloved is someone who really understands you, who hears you. And that might have been severely lacking for a lot of people. One of the things that, it's not exclusively density consciousness beings, but people who get overly obsessed with being in a relationship, I'm going to get myself in trouble. That's fine. Let's go off. All right. So some of you are cheering. I can actually feel you be like, yeah, she goes. She's going to do it. Listen, in my opinion, in my spiritual opinion, okay, the feeling I'm getting around this is that when you're high frequency, that sounds so, when you're doing your best, okay, and you're a light being soul or you're an angelic soul and you just want to be in a loving, peaceful space. Sometimes for some of you on your path, the most loving space is the one that you create for yourself and you're on your own. Okay, it could be hard, but maybe that's where you do your most self-reflecting. It's where you've done the most growth. Okay. It does not mean that you're bad if you are in that high frequency and you want to be with a partner. That could be really, really, really wonderful. Here's what it's not. You ready for your minds to be blown? Well, it's not going to be that mind blowing because you know exactly. Comment down below. What am I about to say? Where am I about to go with this? Because I know you know. And you're like, I'm new here. I don't know. Twin flames. If you don't get off my porch with that stuff, that is the thing. I need to calm down. That is the thing that people who claim to be spiritual will hang on to try to convince you that they're on some sort of perfect path. Oh, God, I can't stand it when I'm listening to somebody. I'm like, oh, wow, they're bringing in some really good information. And then and your twin flame. Okay, now, does that, first of all, it's not called twin flame. That's something dumb. I said it. Test me, okay? That is something dumb that humans came up with. In other realms, there are experiments. It's not just a duality consciousness, right? Where that's actually treated as a punishment. Okay? Again, that feels like a whole other realm. I'm not connected to that. So in some sense, yeah. But just throwing that term twin flame, that's such a density word. I can't. I'm not even going to go down that road. Anyway, when people are obsessed with being in a relationship, that's density. Michelle, love is beautiful. Of course it is, when it's real love. Look around you. Report back. How many people settled because they just didn't want to be alone? It was too uncomfortable to face themselves, so they had to be with somebody who's constantly distracting them, or they want to, in a way, be controlled. This happens where people don't have their own sense of identity, so they have to sort of absorb someone else's, so they have to go into a relationship. Again, I'm not saying that the density equates to bad necessarily. What I'm saying is that if you're not fitting in with that, that is not a terrible thing. That's not a terrible thing, okay? Somebody who is just following a pre-prescribed life, Again, it's not bad if you're in it. I'm talking about the obsession part of it. That's where it's not cool. That's where it's not cool. I hope I'm making sense. Let me just put it this way. When someone comes to me, because we're calling it out now, angelic souls are awake. Light being souls, they're awake. They're not hiding anymore. They're not holding back. Those types of souls emanate so much love and are so just in the pulsation of love that they just want to maybe share it. But they're not bouncing around aimlessly, waiting to have meaning for themselves until they connect with another. Am I making sense? Does that different? I don't know that what I'm saying is going to translate for a lot of people. Some of you are going to get it like this. And others are going to be like, probably name who you are. Mother Mary. Okay. So here's this idea of a divine mother. And sort of that divine mother, feminine God, source creator. Okay. I had mentioned last week that I don't necessarily believe or worship the God from the Bible, for me personally. I think that has been, I'm going to be careful with my language here, but I think that's just been like a severe twisting of what is actually out there. So a God, yeah. Source, yeah. Something that's wanting me to sacrifice something to them. I got questions. I got a lot of them. So what does this have to do with this card spread here? So the Mother Mary card, it's asking you to open up that compassion, okay? And opening up your awareness. She is an ascended being. So tapping into that feeling as opposed to being in the drama. You know, you've heard me say it all before. Let's get one more card before we sum it up. Illumination. I think that does sum it up. That's what we're working towards, illumination. You know, part of why people are saying about the love partnerships as an example, you know, part of the reason why people get so hung up on that is because we're told we're supposed to. Again, being in love is great. It's great, but it needs to be real love. And I'll say a second time, I invite you to look around. Who is really in love? My mom and dad are really in love. Okay. If you have an elderly couple, be careful with this because, oh my gosh, I don't want anybody to offend anybody, or maybe check out an interview online. The couples that have been married for decades, right? And maybe they're an elderly couple, you know, they'll say, oh, the secret to marriage is this. A lot of times the woman may say something to the effect of, you have to just let him do whatever he wants. Michelle, that's crazy. It's not crazy. Open your eyes. Now, I don't know that you can get this out of them, but ask, did either one of you ever cheat? What does that got to do with love? I mean, people have got so many. What I'm getting at here is when we're trying to make this perfect storybook romance, nothing. Oh boy, this is your takeaway today. Nothing is ever what it seems. The people on social media trying to make their lives seem perfect, trying to seem like perfect parents. They've got the perfect marriage. Oh, just because we've been together for so long, that means no, it wasn't. Look into it. Okay. Leave your comments down below. If there are certain things that you've been concerned about that are going on in the world, or, you know, just, it's not a space. The comments are not a space for you to get a personal reading. You can reach out to me, angelsouls444.com, to book a personal reading. Okay. But if there are certain worldwide events, I can certainly tune into that for the next reading. Okay? Check out the dailies, and we're going to leave it there. I'm sending you all so much love, and take care.